What's up, YouTube? Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Commanders, Monday Night Football. You know what that means. Another opportunity to make some money on PrizePicks, and we've got some great player props for you for tonight's game. We had a lot of good football this weekend, Joey. I don't think that trend continues tonight. Eagles are 11-point home favorites, and this is a spot where the Eagles should absolutely roll.
Yeah, I mean, Eagles at home against a terrible Washington Commanders team. So for my first play, I like Jalen Hurts under 30.5 pass attempts. And the reason I like this, I mean, you could see on the screen, Jalen Hurts has only gone over that number one time, but as 11-point favorites, we've seen the Eagles continuously when they're these big favorites. They come out heavy in the first half, they come out swinging, get up big, and then the second half, they just cool out. They just literally stop putting their foot on the pedal. They let Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell tote the rock, and that just ultimately limits Jalen Hurts' overall ceiling, his overall passing ceiling on a weekly basis. And the Eagles are throwing the ball at a 48% rate this year, which is fourth worst in the NFL. So I think 30.5 is just too high. This number has gotten bumped up actually from 29.5 to 30.5. So I think we're getting an extra pass attempt. Maybe the market is predicting Washington to play a little bit better in the spot, albeit the 11-point spread. But I personally still think the Eagles roll. And if the Eagles are rolling, Jalen Hurts' passing volume is limited because of that. So under 30.5, I think it's one of the better bets you could make on a relatively tight PrizePicks game tonight.
Couldn't agree more, man. I love that Jalen Hurts under on pass attempts. Guys, if you are new to the channel and like what you see, drop a like on this video, hit the subscribe button. Cross 500 earlier in the week, and we are on the path to 600. Each and every one helps, and we appreciate all of you.
Yep. Make sure you subscribe, like Ben said. But Ben, you have to play two plays on PrizePicks. Who is your favorite prop for Monday Night Football?
Well, to make this a legit two-pick power play, right, we need somebody from Washington. And I found one that I do like. Curtis Samuel, 42.5 receiving yards. Going to take the over here, just sort of playing into the game script that you've already talked about, right? We think Washington is going to be playing from behind. I think that the pass attempts could be up in this spot. And Curtis Samuel does have the best matchup of any pass catcher for Washington. The Eagles have been pretty locked down on the perimeter with Darius Slay and James Bradbury playing elite. Curtis Samuel should see the majority of his snaps in the slot. It's sort of been 50-50 for him all year. He's been running 53.2% of his snaps in the slot, but I think that number rises tonight with the return of Jahan Dotson. Avonte Maddox is the Eagles' primary slot corner. He's out in this game, going to be replaced by Josiah Scott, who's mostly been either inactive or a special teams player for Philly. He's only been active in 7 out of 9 games, and he's only recorded defensive stats in 2 of those games. Target distribution in this offense has been shifted back towards Terry since Heineke took over as starting quarterback, but still an 18+% target share for Curtis Samuel post quarterback change. And I think this is a pass heavy game script for Washington. Curtis has gone over 42.5 in 7 out of 9 games this season in 4 out of his last 5 games. And he's got the best matchup for any Commanders wide receiver. So Curtis Samuel over 42.5, lock that in right along with Jalen Hurts under on pass attempts.
All right, so that's our nice two-pick power play for tonight. Jalen Hurts under 30.5 pass attempts. Curtis Samuel over 42.5 receiving yards. If you're playing on PrizePicks, playing two-pick power plays is definitely the best long-term bet, but we all know everybody loves to bet parlays, 4-leg parlays, 5-leg parlays on PrizePicks. So with that being said, do you have any leans that you want to give to the people that will make this go from a 2-pick power to, let's say, a 4-pick power or a 5-pick flex play for the potential higher payout?
Yeah, if I'm adding something else, just trying to have a good night tonight, have a little bit of fun. I kind of like the under on Brian Robinson's rushing and receiving yard combo there. It is 42.5. So his rushing line is 33.5, right? And first off, Brian Robinson sucks at football. I mean, I think that we can all agree on that. Great story.
That is facts.
Yeah, yada, yada, yada. Great story. Good for him. But he is just not going to be going out there and putting up a ton of production. And especially as a receiver, he's had 0, 0, 0, 13, and -6 as his receiving line. So with 9 extra receiving yards tacked onto his rushing line and you legitimately getting almost nothing from him as a receiver on a week-to-week basis, I just think that you're getting a little bit of an edge compared to the rushing line. If we take the under, sort of playing into the game script that they're going to be from behind, probably have to abandon the run, probably have to see a higher dose of Antonio Gibson in this game, who has seen his snap share rise respectively in this backfield. Just sets up as a game where I think Brian Robinson gets phased out relatively early. He doesn't have the talent to really beat you on like a big explosive play. So for those reasons, I'm going to be taking the under on Brian Robinson's rushing and receiving at 42.5. All right, so we've got 3 out of 4 here, Joe. If we want to make this a true full-blown flex play, we're going to need one more. So what do you got for the people?
Yeah, so we obviously have the 3 props that we said already in this video. For the next 2 that I like, we're going to go to first half. One of my leans would be Jalen Hurts over first half passing yards. Obviously, you can't play it in the same entry as the pass attempt unders, as you can't play the same player twice in a single entry. But just kind of going back to what I was saying about how the Eagles play inherently is they come out of the gate swinging. They come out moving the ball, throwing the ball down the field, and then they kind of trail off in the second half when they're up. And as 11-point favorites, I think we're going to see a very similar game script where Jalen Hurts comes out, the Eagles move the ball, they're able to score, put up a bunch of points on this Washington Commanders pass defense, which is bottom half in the NFL in terms of passing yards allowed, 121.5. This line has not gotten bumped yet, so I still do like this. And if you want to correlate Jalen Hurts 121.5 passing, you go over to receiving. And I like all 3 of these Eagles players on here. I love A.J. Brown over 35.5 receiving yards. He's hit in 4 out of his last 5 games, averaging 58.4 receiving yards per game, as you could see on the screen. If you want to go a little bit lower, maybe get a lower line, Devontae Smith, 26.5. He already has a game against Washington this year where he went over 100 yards. Some would say he's due for a big game, and I think 27 yards is relatively low. And then Dallas Goedert, I mean, 23.5. And if you look at his game log, he's been smashing that as well. So I just kind of want to correlate this first half bet of Jalen Hurts over 121.5 with these Philadelphia pass catchers. And I think my favorite would be A.J. Brown if we're going to put him in for a 4-pick power. But I also do love Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert as leans as well. But we can't put Jalen Hurts over 121.5, but that would be my 5th and final selection in this if we were able to do it. And maybe you take out the pass attempts for, another Philadelphia wide receiver, or maybe you just run this 4-pick power, which I personally think 4-pick powers are better than 5-pick flexes either way.
Totally agree with that, man. And that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you're on board with some of these picks. Let's make some money tonight. And I'll be back with another prize pick early looks video at some of the week 11 props tomorrow. Until then, let's stay profitable. Have a great day.